How excited are you though for these young players? Because you have a very young team, bunch of All-Americans, McDonald's All-Americans, and working on some more from what rumors I have. But how important is it to get at least one more game, but hopefully two more, three more, however many more you get?
Yeah, it's important for them to learn how to play late into March, and potentially into the beginning of April. And so the wear and tear on your body, what that feels like, what's required. We've been doing a great job as a staff of really trying to instill in them the consistency and what it takes throughout the course of the season. But the reality is you never know until you know yourself, till you experience it.
Another Duly Noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Okay, welcome in to another Duly Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Great to join you, and great to be ready for March Madness. Boy, am I ready. Oh, am I ready? Oh, it's just, I cannot wait. I've watched so much basketball already. I watched all four of the first four games. I don't know what is going on with me. I've become this basketball nerd. And I'm like, where I'm on radio with Jeff, and I'm like, this guy, of course, this team, this and this. He's like looking at me like, what are you, Jay Billis? I'm not as smart as Jay Billis, but I've been really paying attention. Anyway, today we're going to talk a little women's basketball. Rae Finley is going to join us, and they've got a game tonight against Northern Iowa in the WBT, which is the old WNIT. They just changed one name, one word in it. Basketball. So women's basketball invitational tournament. Anyway, they're playing tonight at 7. So go out and support them. You're going to go see some McDonald's All-Americans if you go out there, and they deserve your support. They practice and work just as hard as everybody else. You can take a break from the men's tournament and go watch the women. And then of course Monday, Coach Spurrier will join us as usual, and we always love that. We'll have a lot to talk about. Now, let us get to our Royal Blue starting five. We have a lot to talk about today, too. Look forward to talking to our great guests, but let's get to the Royal Blue starting five brought to you by Royal Blue. Randy Royal over there, they get it done the right way. We had that fishing boat up the other day. Man, we'll put it up again next Monday, Zach. You still have that? We can put that up there next Monday. Number one on our Royal Blue starting five. I gave you 3 days. If you followed my instructions, 3 days to kind of just enjoy what has been going on. That what Florida's been able to do. One of the number one seeds in the tournament, 30-4. It's been incredible. SEC tournament champs. Beat Alabama and Auburn on the road. Broke all these kinds of records. Appreciate Walter Clayton. And I will say this, Florida made it easy for you to do that. They put out this unbelievable video. It's 3 parts, and I watched all 3, and it is amazing. It's like what you would expect to see, on Netflix, that kind of thing. It's really good. I hope they aren't insulted by me saying that, but I love what I see on Netflix or on HBO, But anyway, the point is, I gave you 3 days, and I was hoping everybody would do that. But a lot of people were still mad. They were mad about the seeding. They were the corrupt NCAA. We heard it all. And look, I tried to explain it to people, but to be honest with you, when I'm explaining it, I think I'm wrong but it's all over now. It's all done. Basketball is started with Tuesday, of course, and people were gnashing their teeth because North Carolina won, and the game, and poor Texas got beat last night. I feel bad for them because they had a big lead, but they were Texas. That's the reason they maybe shouldn't have been in the first place. But if they put them in, that's fine. They had a resume worthy of being put in. But they did this all year, up and down. Florida beat that team by 24, and they had 4 guys in double figures. What does that say about them? They scored 60 points and had 4 guys in double figures. So anyway, it's time now for us to get ready and hunker down, if you got a little nerves in your stomach, that's perfectly the butterflies are going to hatch. There's nothing you can do about it. And, kind of get ready for it. Get ready for it. Figure out what you're going to eat, or it's just like anything, like a Masters or any these great events that we watch on TV. This is the best one. This is number one to me. And football's got a long way to go to be able to catch it. Norfolk State, they are an interesting team. I was looking at a lot of stuff on them. And this was this thing that stood out. 4 of their 10 losses. Now you can look at 10 losses and go, oh, they suck. 4 of their 10 losses came to teams that are in the tournament. Now Auburn being one of them. So look, they have played some big gyms, and we've told the Norfolk State story. I know Chris Harry wrote about it, and I've told the story about it multiple times. But that has nothing to do with this year's team. That was way back in the olden days. Was that 12? I think 2012. Anyway, it's time to play some ball. It's time to play some ball. Yeah, I mean they lost to Tennessee 67-52. They lost to Auburn. I mean, they play good teams. Brian Moore is the guy to worry about. He's averaging 18.4 points a game. Really good player. Look, like I said, I watched those first 4 games, and I was like, those teams aren't that different from the really good teams. They're not that different. They just tend to make mistakes at bad times and can't overcome them. And that to me is the biggest thing I saw. Made mistakes and couldn't overcome them when they made them. And that's what Florida's been great at. They don't make a lot of mistakes. And even when they do, they're able to overcome them. So anyway, it's on. Let's go. It's on like Donkey Kong. Let's see how it goes. Let's go to number 2 on our Royal Blue starting 5. And that is the sweep of Walter Clayton Jr. And I'm proud of him. And he got 2 more All-American honors, 3 this week, but he got Lapy, then he got Basketball Writers, and USA Today, whoever it was. There's 4 that you consider to be consensus. Then you're a consensus. Consensus, look, being an All-American is a big deal, and it's harder in basketball than any other sport, in my opinion, because you only have 5 chances to be a first-team All-American. You got 24, maybe 25. I don't know if they give a returner in football. Now, I know there are more football players, but 5 chances, and you have 300 and something schools in Division I. Now, I know nobody from Akron is ever going to be on an All-American team. But I think the Flea was one year. I think he was on a Flea. Yeah, I think he was. Anyway, I'm just so happy and so proud of him, and I think it means a lot to Gator fans that somebody finally recognized Florida basketball. Now, that was a question I kept asking this week: is why? What is the answer here? Why is he the first? Not why did he get it, but why is he the first? And when you think about it, a lot of it has to do with numbers. He's got a good average. A lot of it has to do with the fact that they have played fun basketball, and he's been the point guard. He's the point guard and the best player on what may be the best team in the country, arguably is. You've got to put him on the team. Now, you could have said, well, what about in 07? Well, everybody averaged 11 points a game on that team. What would you put, Noah or Horford or Brewer or Humphrey? That was just a great team. And the guys didn't get singled out. Neil Walk, I went over this with Jeff the other day. Look, I think on the team were Kareem, Lou Alcindor at the time, Elvin Hayes, Wes Unseld, Pete Maravich, who scored 100 points a game, and they lost every one, and Larry Miller, who was a great college player at North Carolina. So that's why he didn't get it. So there's just been reasons, and like Bradley Beal, I never thought that he would be an All-American. He played really well, especially late in the season, and you knew he was going to go pro because he was a pro, and he's made a fortune there. But when you go through it all, you can find reasons why not, and explain it. So it's really the more you know about Gator basketball history, and I didn't know this, but the more I've kind of looked into it, yeah, it's not surprising he's the first one. And we've talked about what to do for it, and we'll see what they end up doing. But I don't. The problem with putting a brick in front of the O Dome is then you have to put a brick for women's basketball, which is I think maybe one or two. But you have to put them for swimming, gymnastics, volleyball. I guess you could do a swimming one back in the back, but who would see it? And that's my point. I want something to recognize Walter Clayton that people see all the time, not just something in the facility. Now I know that's the way they do for baseball. You have to go to the facility and go in it to see the All-Americans. But anyway, hey, look, they want me to come work for the UAA. I got a lot of good ideas. Get ready for them. All right, so that was number 2. Number 3 is the number one thing right now is dealing with distractions. It's going to be different. You're at the NCAA tournament. It is going to be different. Believe me, I've been there. I miss it terribly. I love going to the tournament. I love going to usually a different city. I've never been to Seattle before. When we went there, I'd never been to Syracuse. And so I was able to do those things, and I miss going to those things and being at courtside, and it's the energy in the building when you have a big game. I'm going to miss that. But I'm not going to be distracted, and who cares if I am distracted? What matters is whether they get distracted. This is going to be different. And I know Todd has done a great job of this all year. This is a team that's not lost 2 games in a row. I think they're the only ones that have not lost 2 games in a row. And so, just it's so easy for us to say this. Don't get distracted. Don't worry about tickets. Don't worry about this. Just be focused. Stay focused. Stay focused. And you can hear your coach say it, but you still have your 5th cousin who wants a ticket to the game. The quote from Todd I thought was a really good one. We can't let it change the way we are. This tournament. Don't let this tournament change the way we are. The team that went up to Nashville, be that team. Be the team that closed the season by beating Alabama and Ole Miss when everybody said, well, those last 2 closers is going to be rough. Be that team. Okay, number 4 on our Royal Blues starting 5. Thanks to Randy Royal. Appreciate him. Baseball had a kind of like a Dr. Feelgood week because, obviously it wasn't a good weekend. They had to get the bats going. They had to do all this. Still, the pitching was hardly quality. I like there's JU pitching here. Let me get it up here in front of the camera. JU pitching here, and then there's way over here is Tennessee pitching, and somewhere in the middle of that wasn't a good illustration, but somewhere in the middle of that is probably Georgia pitching. So, JU, FAMU, not having good years. They didn't look good. FAMU, it was interesting, didn't even have stats because they let go of their SID or they didn't have an SID, and then he just got hired yesterday. So they didn't have stats or anything. It's crazy. I made fun of Jeff. How are you going to do the game? You're going to go, hey, I think he's pretty good. He's got a good swing. So anyway, they won the 2 games, both run rolls by a score of 30-8 combined. They needed that. However, they need more this weekend when they play Georgia. Georgia ranked number 4 in the country. They can really hit. Florida should be able to hit them, but just take the right approach, guys. Be, as I like to call him, Colby Blake Shelton. Just be like he's doing. Hitting everything the opposite way, especially late. The ball's pitched out there, hit it there. You don't hit, if you pull it, it's a ground out. And look, we've been saying this for years, and coaches have been telling them for years, but players get up there and a guy hits a homer, and man, they're gonna be the next guy that hits a homer. So they're 18 to 22-year-old kids. So anyway, but let's see what they do. Florida's still ranked 13th, so like I said, need to take this serious. Really do. All right, let's get to softball as well, because I wanted some good news to talk about since we had bad news last week. And of course, I did want to mention the softball game Monday where Florida won and against Oklahoma. That was a big win for Florida. Now they don't have a game this weekend. They don't play anybody, but they do play tonight against UNF. We'll get to that the TV on that in a minute. But last night they beat JU 5-2. Good pitching. Ava Brown, good. They just hit just enough. Not overpowering, but they did beat JU 5-2. So, and it was on the road. So good win for the Gators, and hopefully they can get another one tonight, and then go take some time off, get some rest, work on some fundamentals, and see where we go from here. And that is our Christine and Steve Wendig from Boss Art Realty, The Circle. I should have mentioned that before I did it, but now I'm mentioning it now. All right. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Rae Finley is going to join us. We'll do that and more here on another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI from the Meldon Law Gator Studios.
Great food, great atmosphere, a diverse menu, everything made from scratch, plenty of space, and locally owned. These are all the characteristics of a great restaurant, and you can find each and every one of them right here in Gainesville at Ballyhoo Grill. Ballyhoo Grill prepares all of their food fresh every day, from their salad dressing to their award-winning soups. Bring your family and enjoy dinner under the Tim Tebow Tiki Hut while listening to live music. Or if you're running low on time to eat out, they also deliver through Uber Eats, Bite Squad, and Postmates. A Gainesville staple that's been open for over 30 years. Check out Ballyhoo Grill on Facebook or at ballyhoogrill.com.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, two things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured.
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
And our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
At Royal Blue, we use such tools as AI, bulk email marketing, trade shows, Google search advertising, and multiple websites. We take a much more proactive approach to getting your boat sold in a timely manner. With our extensive client list and broker-dealer network, we can track down vessels that might be perfect for you and your family, that may not even be listed for sale yet, giving you the right of first refusal. We have spent the last 15 years in boat sales, observing and listening to our clients. In response to our findings, we have constructed a custom yacht brokerage that strives to fit their needs and not ours. Call us today to schedule a consultation to see what Royal Blue can do to solve all of your boating needs. Call Randy at 850-974-1294. Okay, welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging from the Meldon Law Dooley Dome Gator Studios. We are bringing on, of course, great coach and a great person, Rae Finley, who's got a game tonight against the Northern Iowa. I looked up their nickname and I forgot. Spartans, is it?
I think it might be the Panthers. I don't know. That's my neck of the woods where I grew up, but I should know that. That's a bad start.
Well, yeah, it's going to be interesting in this WBIT. Now, is this what the NIT used to be, and they changed the B to?
Yep, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So it's now put on by the NCAA, same as the men.
Okay, yeah. So I think it was just like, let's just not proclaim it women's. Let's just make it different, and that's a good idea, really. Because when I saw it, I went, "Hey, that seems even better." How excited are you though for these young players? Because you have a very young team, bunch of All-Americans, McDonald's All-Americans, and working on some more from rumors I have. But how important is it to get at least one more game, but hopefully 2 more, 3 more, however many more you get?
Yeah, it's important for them to learn how to play late into March, and potentially into the beginning of April. And so the wear and tear on your body, what that feels like, what's required. We've been doing a great job as a staff of really trying to instill in them the consistency and what it takes throughout the course of the season. But the reality is you never know until you know yourself, till you experience it. And so I think it's huge for us. The team is excited, eager to have another opportunity to play together and put on that Florida uniform.
7 o'clock tonight over at the O-Dome against Northern Iowa. And I've watched your team play a lot of games this year, Kelly Rae, and I will say this. You never know who's going to be the player that you're able to go to offensively, and that's a good thing. It's kind of like the men's team. You know how you don't know what the weapon's going to be, but obviously there's players that need to play well for you tonight to have a chance.
Yeah, for sure. Rashea Kyle, we need a big game from her, as well as Liv McGill and Layla Reynolds. For Layla, it could be on the offensive or defensive end of the floor. But the more two-way players that we have, the better the outcome is for the Gators. And so, they're a top 20 three-point shooting team in the country for any level. So that'll be a good challenge for us, kind of more similar to Missouri type for those of you that have watched us. But we expect and anticipate big games from those three.
Yeah, I was looking up some of their stats, and Maya McDermott, 18.5 a game. So that's good anywhere. I don't care what league you're playing in.
Yeah, she's tough. They had an incredibly challenging non-conference slate. They played everybody. They lost to Auburn on a buzzer beater down at the Thanksgiving tournament. Iowa State, they beat them. I think maybe they have 8 teams that they played in non-conference that are playing in the NCAA tournament right now. So they're battle tested, and they're a very good team that comes in here to Gainesville.
Yeah, I was looking at they did play a lot of Power 5 schools and fared really well against them. Kelly Rae Finley coming to us on our Big Mills Cheesesteaks Zoom line, and we look forward to watching them play tonight. Hopefully it's not the last game here either. I mean, you never know how these brackets are all going to play out, right?
Exactly. We would hope to host if we're fortunate enough to move forward.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Where are you now that you're in your 4th year mentally as far as being a Gainesvillian now?
Yeah. Oh, it's a great place. I think it's a tremendous place to live, spend your days. It's, there's a lot going on, man. When I moved here 8 years ago, geez, Pat, it's a lot different than it was then. The best part of Gainesville is still the same, the people. And, the area just keeps getting. Celebration Point is tremendous. It's just a good atmosphere, good area to be around. Butler Plaza, all of those kinds of things. It's a great college town, especially in the SEC.
Yeah, I told somebody that there are very important buildings in this place, and one of them is your building there, and one of them is obviously where you play, and one of them is Steve Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Absolutely. You guys do a lot of stuff out there with recruits, and that is, I tell you what, I think it's one of the biggest assets for recruiting that Florida's gotten in the last few years.
Yeah, it really is. Just when you talk about the lifestyle and the opportunity that we have to be in North Central Florida, close to the beach, but not too close for those hurricanes now. Okay, that's good.
That's right.
For us Midwesterners, that's a huge thing for us. It's a really safe town, but to have outdoor spaces where you can congregate and come together as a community is just tremendous.
Let me ask you this question, because we haven't really talked about these kind of things, but I'm just wondering how you knew you wanted to be a coach, when you knew that was in your blood.
That's a good question. So my dad is a high school coach, a very successful high school coach back in Minnesota. And I kind of just always grew up around the game. I think I was probably a better teammate than I was a player. I was probably more knowledgeable about the game than I was successful in playing it. Though, I did play in the Big Ten and the Mountain West, but honestly, Pat, I never really wanted to coach. It was something that I had the opportunity to get started at Harvard. And it brought me back to everything I felt like that was right about sport. And just the experience and the skills needed and required, the skills that you learn in order to be successful when you're done playing. And then, of course, as a competitor, you want to do it at the highest level, and you want to do it your way, and you want to win, right? And so all those things kind of just fell into place for me, but with a lot of hard work and determination. But it's about the people that you surround yourself with, most definitely.
Yeah, I mean, let me ask you this because we everybody's talking about 14 SEC teams got on the men's side. But I always tell people the SEC is good in everything, man.
Oh yeah.
It's unbelievable how good it is on the women's side too. I mean, every week
Yeah.
it feels like playing a ranked team.
Yeah, I thought we finished the season with one of the hardest schedules in the country, probably the hardest. And that's why you come to the SEC. You want to be the best. And, we're building. Yes, it was the end of this is, closing in on the end of year 4, but really the end of year 3, that interim year was difficult to recruit. That was something that wasn't taken into consideration. Layla Reynolds really was our first recruiting class. She's now a sophomore. And so, coming up upon the close of year 3, I really think that we're poised to make that next step. A lot of people talk about, the All-Americans, that experience wins in our league. And you see that on the men's side and on the women's side. But having a vision and driving towards that vision and building it just a little bit differently, a little bit old school, can always be a good thing,
Yeah, old school. I mean, you're recruiting versus the portal. Yeah,
absolutely.
All right, before we let you go, you have to play Yes, No Way, or Maybe. It's brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteak. Street dining done the right way. If you go in there and say, hey, I listened to Rae Finley on Pat Dooley's podcast, you get free fries with your order. Okay, number 1, yes, no way, or maybe, Kelly. Shaq is a helicopter parent.
Oh, no way. No way.
I knew the answer, but I just wanted to ask you.
No way. He's a great guy.
How much do you interact with him now?
Just like any of the rest of our parents, Miara is here to build a legacy for herself. She's doing a tremendous job of that. Gosh, how she's really grown and matured in our last 2 games of the season.
Better,
yeah, I think you can see that. And it was never a matter of if, it's still not. It's going to be a matter of when for her. But no, just like all of our parents, I've been very, very blessed. We have a great set of parents this season.
Great. That's good to know. All right. Number 2, you were going up against the dean of Missouri Valley coaches.
Say that again. Do I know?
The dean? Do you know that?
No.
Okay. Tanya Warren. Yeah.
I was going to say, what is the dean? No, I know she's a heck of a coach. That's for dang sure.
It just means you've been a lot longer than anybody else in that conference.
I got you. Yeah, growing up in Minnesota, we're very, very familiar with Coach and her teams and how successful they've been over the course of her career.
Okay, and finally, number 3, the sex of your baby.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a boy.
Hey, all right.
Yeah, and hopefully he'll be here any day now. Maybe after the season, we're hopeful. But you know what? God's timing is perfect timing, and so we can't stop that.
Yeah, the due date's late March, right?
That's right.
Yeah. See, I know a lot about you. You don't know
that.
Yeah,
there you go, Pat. I love it. I appreciate you.
Well, hey, look, we'll get everybody out there tonight, 7:00, Northern Iowa, O-Dome. You know how to get there, everybody. It's not hard to find. It's
not hard to find.
Building.
You got it.
But hey, we appreciate your time and thanks so much. We'll be back with more of another Duly Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging from the Meldon Law Gator Studios after this. Hey, let's talk about something that's been a real game changer for many people, including me. BMI TeleMed is one of our sponsors. They're the weight loss specialists and can help you tackle that stubborn belly fat. The kind that usually creeps up once you hit your 40s. Bob Parado and Charlie Gonzalez, 2 UF-trained pharmacists, work with their medical director to prescribe and deliver the same meds that helped me lose 50 pounds. Yep, 50 pounds. That belly fat, it's not just about looks. It's unhealthy and makes you feel sluggish. So now's the time to do something about it before spring and summer roll around. If you're anywhere in Florida, BMI TeleMed, simple online telehealth platform makes it easy. Your weight loss meds get delivered right to your door fast. From my experience, you feel full sooner, eat less, but can keep enjoying the foods that you love, just in smaller portions. Plus, it helps with blood sugar and cravings. Do yourself a favor, head to bmitelemed.com to set up a free private consultation. No obligations, no contracts. These Gators know their stuff. You'll look better, feel better, and be healthier. Visit bmitelemed.com today.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
Adams Rib Company has been a staple of Gainesville for more than a decade and a staple of the Dooley house ever since Kelsey's teeth came in. The first time I walked into Adams, I told my daughter that the green beans are always a test of a great barbecue restaurant, and they were perfect. You know about the ribs that melt in your mouth, and my favorite, the turkey plate. But be sure to go in on Fridays for Nana's Fish Nuggets. They will melt in your mouth. Adams Rib Co., a Gainesville great. Okay, we really appreciate Kelly Rae Finley for joining us, and good luck to her tonight in the big game against Northern Iowa there at the O-Dome. Last chance to see, maybe your last chance. You never know, because if depends what happens on the other side of the bracket. So we'll see if that's the last time they play in the O-Dome this year. Let us move along to our Hesser and Kipke's 3 things. We appreciate our friends at Hesser and Kipke. You can call them at 352-339-9920 or reach them at www.hklawfl.com for all of your family law and workers' compensation needs. Appreciate Ken and Jen. Let's start with number 1, which is the whole Aaron Rodgers saga. Now, as I say this, he may make up his mind later today, and it's not a bit, we know where he's going. And everybody's getting all upset about why can't he? And it's so funny because guys like Adam Schefter and all the insiders, they're mad at him because they want an answer. We want it, and I want the breaking news. And I'm like, just calm down. Let him make his own decision. But the interesting thing this week is that the Vikings said, we've had enough of this. And you would have thought that would be the best team for him to go to. And that's where he wanted to go, but they said, we can't work out a deal with him, so let's move along, and we'll count on J.J. McCarthy. We'll see how that goes. Again, this is a guy who's unproven. He has not played in the NFL, but they love him, and they felt like that's why they drafted him. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But, the Steelers and the Giants, a lot of people think he's going to end up with the Giants because he likes New York. He likes the publicity you can get in New York. And I'm like, whatever, go there and lose. That's fine. If he goes to the Steelers, I kind of like the Steelers, but I can't like Aaron Rodgers, so I'm not going to root for them. But it'll be interesting to see where this all ends up. It's just, look, he had this famous picture of him with a shawl on, walking the beach of Malibu, contemplating his decision. That was staged, and they set it up, and they go, okay, here's where the cameras need to be, and blah, blah, blah. But the bottom line is, whatever he does, I don't think he's going to be a difference maker. I think he's too old. I just don't see it. But anyway, it is quite an interesting saga at any rate. Number 2 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things, Stanford's got an issue right now with a coach that I guarantee you not many of you know his name, who the Stanford football coach is. His name is Troy Taylor, and he has been accused of doing several things, bullying female trainers, of telling his compliance person, threatening her because she found things that were violations, and which is your job, and was going to report him, and he was threatening her. Anyway, he sounds like a real low-class guy, at least from what I've read, and the NCAA is going to come in, and that'll be interesting to see what happens. The problem for Stanford is not an attractive football job in any way. In any way. They have a stadium that hosted a Super Bowl, but it's still not an attractive. That was more about where it was than all the parties were in San Francisco, which is a long way from Palo Alto. Not a long way, but it's a pretty good bus ride. Anyway, I just don't think it's a very attractive job. And now you're playing in the ACC and you got to go back and forth across the country. Yeah, it's just not a good job. So we'll see what happens there, whether they let him go or not. And again, this is one of those where you could do it with cause, and then you don't have to pay a buyout. He'll probably sue, but doesn't matter. You certainly have plenty of cause. It looks like here. Now, again, this is kind of like, I don't want to say it's like the situation that Todd Golden went through, because Todd Golden, there was no evidence, no pictures or nothing like that, and so that was totally dismissed. But we'll see what happens here with Troy Taylor, because again, Title IX could be involved in this as well. And Stanford is really kind of a buttoned-up school, so I'll be surprised if he's their coach this fall. Surprised. Doesn't mean he won't be. I'll be surprised. All right, let's get to number 3. I wanted to mention this, even though it happened earlier in the week, but Derek Gaffney passed away, and I knew Derek a little bit. Of course, Derek, the father of Jabbar, who had, of course, a great career for Florida and played a long time in the NFL, as did Derek. I mentioned this on the radio Tuesday. I interviewed Derek as a NFL player more than I did as a college player, because as a college player, he was basically, when they would go to 2 receivers, which was rare because they were running the wishbone all the time, but he was opposite Wes Chandler. So didn't get a lot of balls thrown his way, but got drafted very low, 8th round. There's not even an 8th round anymore. And had a nice career with the Jets. Had a really good rookie year and played for a while, played for 8 years. Certainly sad to see his passing at the age of 69. Of course, a member of one of the great families in the University of Florida. The Gaffneys and the Jacksons, to me, are the 2 families that stand out. You got Willie, Terry, Khalil. I mean, it just goes on and on. Derek Gaffney's got, obviously Don Gaffney, the first black quarterback at the University of Florida, and Jabbar, and Johnny Gaffney played at Florida. I think Johnny Gaffney, the story I got was that he ate before his surgery, even though they told him not to, and he asphyxiated into his mask, and they had to do all these things to save his life. Anyway, it's probably not the story Johnny Gaffney wants me to tell on this sad day, but really sad to see Derek Gaffney passing away. Those are our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Let's move along to our Adams Ribco Gator of the Week, and I'm going to give it to I think I'm going to give it to Caitlin Oxley, because look, Florida was in a bad place on Monday because they had lost the first 2 games and had really gotten steamrolled by Texas. And then she came in 5 innings and she made an error, and that's the only reason they got a run. 5 innings of 1-run baseball, and it was an unearned run, and pitched really well. And Ava Brown came in and pitched really well right behind her, so that was good. So I'll give it to Ava Brown too. Let's make Caitlin Oxley and Ava Brown our Gators of the Week, brought to you by our great friends at Adams Ribco. And I could have made it something else, but I look, I was paying attention, believe me. I was watching all of it. So let us move along to our Leonardo's at Millhopper quick picks. And this is a simple one. It's just a number. And I will say this. You have to have this in by Saturday morning for you to qualify for $25 at Leonardo's Pizza of Millhopper. You have to have it in by Saturday morning, because I'll let you see what happens Friday. But the question is very simple. How many SEC teams are playing Saturday and Sunday? So could be 2. I don't think that'll happen. Could be, well, we know it won't be Texas. So now you're down to 13 teams. You're down to 26 million that you could make if everybody wins their first round game. So how many SEC teams? Just give me a number. 5, 6, 7, 4, 2. You can make it 13. It's somewhere between 0 and 13. That's what we know that are going to be playing. That is our Leonardo's at Millhopper quick picks. It is time right now for us to do our Hugh Cain Allstate Mayhem moment.
The Gator Nation is in good hands with local Allstate agent Hugh Cain. Stop by Alachua Marketplace Plaza in Alachua and get a free quote today.
Yeah, this was it was alarming to see this and hear about it and then see it. And Tracy Morgan getting wheeled off Madison Square Garden Court. He says he had food poisoning. I've had food poisoning 4 times. I can tell you it's not pleasant. But he's holding his nose. He seems to be bleeding out of his nose. Maybe he fell over. Maybe I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on anything. But that was certainly a mayhem moment because they had to stop the game for 10 minutes to clean up the throw up. You don't just clean up throw up with one of those mops, you know, the things that they wipe up sweat with. You don't do that. You got to clean it. So that was definitely a mayhem moment. Thanks to Hugh Cain for sponsoring our mayhem moments. You never know what we're going to go with. You never know with us, and we enjoy it. We have a lot of fun with it. Okay, it's time for our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the Week, and here's my Sponge of the Week, and that is all of us fans that are getting ready to soak all this up that we're going to experience over the next. To me, this is the best weekend of the year. I love Masters weekend. Don't get me wrong. I love a great college football weekend, but this is the best weekend of the year because we have 4 days of just basketball, different channels, you know, it's not like the NFL playoffs where they, you know, it's one and then it stops and then there's another. It's going on all the time. You'll have 4 games today. I cannot wait for that. You'll have 4 games going on and then another 4 games and another 4 games. So it's just great. And just soak it up. And that's what they do at Gallo Car Wash when they clean your car up. And it's a great place to go, I will say that. But you fans are the Gallo Car Wash sponges of the week because you are getting ready to soak up what's going to be a lot of fun. I am very fortunate because no radio the next 2 days because we're carrying the tournament on WRUF. So there's no radio. And after I'm done with this, I'm done for the weekend. So, and the weekend starts Thursday at about, I don't know, 11:30. Maybe 12. But anyway, I can't wait for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right. So that's our Gallo Sponge of the week. Let's move along to our BMI TeleMed Smart Move of the Week, brought to you by BMI TeleMed. Achieve and maintain. They are your weight loss specialists. I am working on it right now with them. And I've dropped some poundage. Definitely, I think I'm at 5 pounds I've lost right now and only been doing it for 2 weeks. So, and that's without the ability to work out. Now, I will tell you just from my experience that taking these semaglutides which work and they make you feel full, that you still have to work out as a complementary to it and to really drop the weight. And obviously I got a foot problem that's still a foot problem. It's getting better every day. I actually got fitted for an insert and that'll be ready next week. So anyway, I'm just saying, boy, if I was working out, I'd really be dropping weight, but I am dropping it, and that's really cool. Our smart move of the week, brought to you by BMI TeleMed, is this: the Department of Defense put back Jackie Robinson's info on their website. Now, Jackie Robinson was a war hero. We know the Jackie Robinson story. I don't need to repeat it, but they were purging it as part of their DEI purge. And look, this is not about politics. I'm not talking about politics here. I'm not going to get into politics, but please do not purge a story about Jackie Robinson and what he did, including fighting in a war for your country. Don't do that. That's just stupid. So the smart move was to put it back, which they did. They put back, I think, the Tuskegee Airmen, which is one of my favorite movies. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie. It's a great movie. They were left out and all these different things, but that was dumb, and this is smart, so it's a smart move. All right. Let us move along now to our This, That, and the Other, brought to you by Ironwood Golf Course, by Dar Shakow Insurance, and of course by Ballyhoo Grill. Appreciate our friends that are sponsors of this, that, and the other. This is, can you imagine how West Virginia fans felt Sunday afternoon? They're waiting for the selection show to come up, and they're like, we're in. We've got to be in. First of all, North Carolina's not getting in. We know that. We don't think Oklahoma's in. I mean, I'm sorry, Texas. And Texas did get in, of course, lost last night. But I think we're in. That's the this. The that is, then you find out you're not in. And North Carolina gets in, which no matter how well they played the rest of the way or how well they played the other night, they still shouldn't have gotten in. It was ridiculous. It's the total power move by Bubba Cunningham. I'm going to say it out loud. I was thinking about this the other day. What if he, would be talking to it, because it's 9 ADs and 3 commissioners of minor conferences. That's who's picking this, and most of the ADs are smaller schools too. So it's not exactly a stellar class. Although Greg Byrne's on it, and I have a lot of respect for Greg Byrne, I can tell you that. But what if he's sitting there and he's going? They're both taking a leak, and Bubba looks over and goes, "So what kind of bonus do you get if your team gets in?" "Oh, I don't get any." It's the guy at Sanford. "I don't get any bonus. Our team's not going to get in anyway." He goes, "Oh, okay. I was just curious." "Well, what do you get?" "Well, I get 100,000. Can't believe that. And I get 200,000 if we win a game." So not only that, he's the only guy coming off the committee this year. The only one. Maybe it was a going away present. I'm just saying, there's a lot of conspiracies here, and I'm buying most of them. Anyway, so that is that they didn't get in, and the governor threatened to sue in a grandstanding ploy. It wasn't serious. He just wanted our voters to go, "Well, that guy stood up for our basketball team." The land of burning couches. So that wasn't bad enough. But the other is that the next day, Darian DeVries takes the job at Indiana, which you can't blame him for. Indiana's a better job than West Virginia. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But what a week for the West Virginia fans. They're sitting there going, "Well, I don't even care about basketball anymore." That is this, that, and the other. I did want to mention the quarterback club, Gainesville Quarterback Club, oldest club in the country, in the world, and as far as we know, in the universe. Although I heard there was one somewhere on Saturn that might be. They looked at it when they were up there with one looking for Mars, so there may be one on Saturn. But no, it's the oldest club in the world, and what a lineup they've got. And boy, I'm working with them, and we're trying to get really good guests, and it's going to be. We can't announce the whole lineup yet. I've mentioned Kevin Carter and Alex Brown are going to come, and Noah Brandeis, people like that. But we all know that they are having a trial membership. If you want to get in, $250. It's a great deal, and you get to go to the first 3 meetings, including Billy Napier at the Touchdown Terrace. Now, some people would pay $250 just to see Billy Napier at the Touchdown Terrace. But he will be there. We will be there, and it'll be a big fun day. I think that's April 5th or 3rd, one or the other, whatever that Tuesday is. I should look it up. I could probably do it in my head. I think it's 3rd. Yeah. So it is a pretty impressive start to you get Billy Napier, then you get Laura Rutledge, and the first meeting for the year, and then you get Billy Donovan. Come on, man. You don't think Billy Donovan's going to have some stories? I'm going to tell stories on him, although he's got some on me too. One of them in Knoxville. That was not a good one. Anyway, look forward to that. Look forward to seeing all those people too, because I haven't seen Laura in a long time. She's spoken to the club multiple times, but she usually does it through interviews and like Zoom links. So, hey, Archie, must be somebody here. So that'll be great. And if you want to join, just contact us at GainesvilleQuarterbackClub.org, and you can join for $250. I know a lot of people have taken advantage of this. And again, you can't go see Billy Napier, and you can't just pay to get in. You've got to be a member of the club to be able to go see him. Okay, that is our Gainesville Quarterback Club little segment there. Let's get to our Los Linderos smooth move of the week. And you know I love my Los Linderos, man. Best tequila there is. Urban Meyer's an owner, and Car Scott, appreciate him, does a great job. And if you want to go beyond, go get Los Linderos tequila. And the bottle is so cool. In fact, I was going to get a bottle and put it up at Spurrier's when we do the podcast there. I think I may still do that because I think that'd look cool. Like, save it as his little Coke bottle, and I'll have a tequila bottle. I think that would be appropriate. So our smooth move of the week is what happened with the Lions, who proposed a new way to seed the NFL playoffs, which makes sense. And that is, okay, look, instead of doing it, you can still win your division and get in, but you can't be a high seed. You can't have teams that are better than you with better records, which makes sense to me, So you would go with the top seed and you would go by records. And if you're 8-9 and win the division, you may end up as the 8th seed or the 12th seed, which makes a lot of sense. I don't disagree with it. However, it won't go through because I just think the Chargers did the same thing a couple of years ago, I want to say, and they proposed this. And the owners meet, I think it's the end, I think it's March 30th through, like 3 or 4 days to meet and stay in a luxury suite in Palm Beach somewhere. Anyway, it is something that does make a lot of sense, but when something makes sense, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. I do think that winning your division does carry some weight, even though not all divisions are made equal. We all know that, but we'll see what happens. All right, let us move along to our swamp games of the weekend. And look, guys, here's the thing I'm going to do. I'm not going to give you all the basketball games. Obviously, you know what's going on there. It starts at 12:15. It goes on till very late at night. You've got 4 networks you have to look at. True TV, which I did get. That was a smart move of the week right there. Because I got to watch games the other night. True TV, TNT, TBS, and CBS. So this is a smart move too. They've got it on these channels because they want you to have these channels. So I had to get True TV. It cost me $13. So I'm just going to give you the stuff that's going on with the Gators. You know what to do. And it's the same thing. I can't tell you what's happening Saturday and Sunday. I don't know who's playing or what time the games are. They're going to assign those later. So here's what I know. A lot of you are going to go to the swamp and watch basketball all day. And you're going to sit there and have a great time. And you're going to have fun. It's going to be beautiful weather. And you got an opportunity to just chill out and watch it. Enjoy it. Have a few beers. Have some food. It's going to be great. Swamp is the place to go to watch games like this. Let's start out with the Florida game, though. Florida basketball is going to be 7 o'clock, of course, on TNT. I don't know what it is on your channel, so your cable system or your digital or direct TV or whatever you have, but it's like, I don't even know what it is on mine. I always just go TNT into that thing that you can talk to. All right, so the game's at 7. It's supposed to be at 7. We'll see. You never know. Some of these games go late, as we know. Baseball, of course, has got Georgia in this weekend. Very important series for them. They need to win this series. There's no doubt about it. I mean, if they win it 2-1, that's great. I'll be very happy with that. But they need to win this series. But they play at 6:30 on Friday, which is so usually they play at 7. 6:30 on Friday, and it's on the Plus. They play at noon on Saturday, and that is on the SEC network. And then they play at 1 on Sunday, which is on the Plus. So you say, why are they playing at noon? They usually play at 3 or 4 on a Saturday. Well, because TV wants them to play there. And the game is on actual SEC network, and I know that's the day Jeff's just doing radio. He does TV the other 2 days, so I'll be watching those games. It's going to be really complicated here. The laptop will come into play as a TV. I can promise you that. Gymnastics, SEC championships, very important. That means something to them. They're going there to win it. I know the NCAA's regionals and everything are coming up, but they're going there to win it, just like Todd Golden's team went there to win it. And they will play. They will tumble at 8:00. They're in the second session, and that will be on the SEC network as well. Again, I need a fifth TV. I think there's so much going on this weekend. And then softball is playing UNF tonight, Thursday night, and that is on ESPN Plus. I will say this, so they don't have a weekend series. I thought for sure they did, but no, they don't have a weekend series. They want to give them time off, but I never really understand the timing of it. But when you have 16 teams, it's very difficult to do that. All right, we appreciate everybody for joining us. We appreciate you guys so much for being part of this show, and certainly Zach for having to deal with me and all my kerfuffles, and I have a few. We'll be back with another show Monday with the coach, Steve Spurrier. We'll have a lot to talk about on Monday. I am Pat Dooley. For Zach, I am deep way back, and I am out of here.